our minority floor leader, and many of my questions were already answered.
Oh, thank
so,
you, thank
as the majority floor leader said, it's mostly statement of support, and then I'll just pose some questions in the interest of time. Sa madaling salita, minamadali ako ng majority floor leader. I will pose a series of questions, and His Honor is free to respond or even tell me that we can take it up during the period of amendments. Because really, they're just clarificatory. I fully support the measure, Your Honors.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Just to start, to put on record that my interest here is as your chairman of the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, Innovations and Futures Thinking, SDG number 8, decent work and economic growth. There are very specific targets that really are aimed at achieving higher levels of economic productivity, promoting development-oriented policies that support productive activities, having targets that substantially reduce the proportion of youth that are not employed, and devising and implementing policies to promote sustainable tourism, which is big in our country. And then under SDG 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, increase the access of small-scale industries and other enterprises, enhance scientific research, upgrade the technological capacities of industrial sectors, and so on and so forth. So that is what I am starting with, because this bill is in line with these SDGs, Your Honor. And I'd like to take off from what I heard from the minority floor leaders' interpellation, just for, it's top of mind, first in, first out. So sa akin, last out, first out also of my, my mind. The majority floor leader was mentioning about the actual scope, no? That's my understanding, scope of the bill. Ano bang klaseng mga facilities to? And I tend to agree with His Honor, because as a advocate of futures thinking, the future is really changing very, very rapidly. So I would suggest that DTI gives us a description that addresses the concern of the minority floor leader, but is quite open-ended, because what is patok na patok today may not be in demand tomorrow. So I would have a hard time if His Honor, who graduates in 2 years, will leave us with a bill that is not reflective of the demands in the next 3 years. So that's my first input, Your Honor, and I will take that as a yes if you don't have any objections to my statement. And then the other concern I have, again, somehow connected to the questions propounded earlier, is the capacity of each of these facilities. I understand the concern of the minority floor leader that we would want to ensure that the community has access. But it is for DTI, Your Honor, I believe, to also be clear about what is the capacity, no? Because I can visualize na, let's just say, and all of us have gone to countries and we are all promoting OTAP, di ba? Tapos naglagay ang DTI ng banana manufacturing facility. Lahat gusto pumunta doon. Tapos makakatanggap ng complaint ang office ni Senator Angara, ng majority floor leader, minority floor leader, hindi ho kami pinapasok doon. Hindi ho pinrasis yung mga saging namin. Eh kasi there is such a thing as a maximum capacity, di ba? So liwanagin nyo lahat yan para hindi magagalit ang tao, because it's one thing to say na open yan sa lahat, walang i-discriminate. O pero masisira naman yung makina na yan pagka hindi nyo naman pinatigil. And I go to my next concern. Yun nga, I'm very happy that we are availing of the expertise, the facilities, the property of the SUCs. But not all of them have open space or even roofs to hold these facilities. So may kasama bang budget yan, no? Because I assume, para umiksi na yung ating interpellation, I assume naman na all of this was studied, but again, I'm saying, I handle the budget of SUCs, and ultimately, it's the sponsor who will approve my recommendations. Siguro we have to be prepared for that, no? Na the demand for this will grow. It's a great project, but let's be prepared not just for the equipment, but the facilities that will house that equipment.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Your Honor. At saka, thank you for raising that regarding the capacity of the machines, because we want to make sure the usage of these machines is sustainable going forward, Your Honor. And of
Yes.
course, I totally agree with you. We should provide funds for the housing. So I think that's also one of the requirements before they
Correct.
approve the agreement with the cooperator or the recipient.
Correct.
Is that
There is
there must be
proper-
some capacity
Yes.
to maintain, to secure, some staff who are knowledgeable in the operation to ensure that hindi basta-basta masisira yon. At,
Well-
at dun sa sinabi nyo, minsan nga hindi pinapagamit kasi alam nilang hindi kayang gamitin
Hindi na
nung
kaya, yes.
parang
And,
baka masisira lang.
Your
ho.
Honor, I will remind you, many of us here co-supported what's the name of the term? Simulation lab of PGH. It is really a futures project that, ano yan, ang tagal ho niya na FLR, and then inulit pa natin yung second phase ng budget noon, the next year, nandun pa rin tayo sa first phase kasi na FLR naman siya sa first phase. I'm just saying, Your Honor, and I'd like to illustrate, no, ito yung parang, imbis na a real body, a human cadaver, ang ino-operate, instead of a cadaver that is being used, I was trying to avoid the word practice, was being used to train our future doctors, it is now a simulator. Even panganganak pwede. But it wasn't cheap. And so anyway, after we funded it, of course after that, nandun na yung MOE, nandun na yung PS, nandun lahat yon, nakatago lahat yon, naka-insert lahat yun sa ilalim.
Nanganganak po.
Nanganganak yung gastos, which kayo din naman ang mamroblema eventually. So I'm just being very mindful na I love the project. Let's be clear about the expenses because we want to support. And I think last point ko na po ito, many of you, I'm sure like I have been invited to the fairs and exhibits in SUCs or even private universities. And it's amazing what you see there, but then you go there 5 years later and yun pa rin yung exhibit. There's this huge gap between innovation and transitioning to production. So perhaps His Honor can just give a very short reply to this. But I assume already the answer is yes, this bill attempts to address that because precisely kaya ka nga may manufacturing facilities para we can go from innovation to manufacturing. But I note with pride that there is this second paragraph in Section 1, yung fabrication lab, fab labs, which is the higher end, no? And this is where it's very critical kasi dyan tayo nahihirapan. I'd love basic facilities to manufacture and have longer shelf life for kamote, for banana, what other fruit products we have, durian, langka, lahat yan. Pero yung Fab Lab talaga is another level, yung mga tipong prosthetics, exactly the ones that you pointed out, Your Honor, in your presentation. And my point being is, makita na talaga natin na we're manufacturing like prosthetics. Do we have such a thing? I know we have. I just don't know how high-end. I imagine there are many others out there. So I use that example because I come across it quite a bit. And it would be great if we can have more of this available. If not, then we can include that in the list.
Yes, Your Honor. You mentioned prosthetic. I think it falls within that realm of science or medicine.
Yes, health. Yes.
Meron ho kasi. And ito yung they're manufacturing the ano tawag doon? Mandibles. The term is mandible. What is that? Yeah, it's a replica
yeah.
of the jaw, so they
Yeah,
can.
you showed that.
So they can operate and practice on it, Your Honor.
Okay.
So yun that's one example, and I think we can move on from that because that one is in MSU. So if we can, I think it dovetails with some of your initiatives and the majority leaders'
Yes.
initiatives. Yung Doktor para sa Bayan.
Yes,
I know you're
exactly.
also studying. You've also pointed out numerous times the need to supplement these measures with also other medical
Allied health professionals.
allied
Yeah,
health. I was
health.
looking for I was
word.
trying to retrieve the proper term, Your Honor. So I know you're concerned about this, and but definitely, if we can move on these developments or on these initiatives on several fronts, then perhaps we could get to our goal faster, Your Honor.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'll end by requesting to be a co-author of this measure. And only as needed, one last point. In the second what is this one? Second paragraph of section 1, it refers to the priority going to provinces without existing fab labs. I think it goes without saying, but I also want to protect DTI. It's like the doktor para sa bayan. We'll point out the areas na walang med school doon. Eh, hindi naman makapagpatayo ng med school doon dahil walang ospital kung saan magte-training yung mga doktor. Wala man lang walang partner hospital yung med school, and then there aren't even enough allied profession. Hindi naman pwedeng lahat ng doktor nila galing sa nursing. You want a pool of doctors that have diverse backgrounds. So I'm just saying the same thing na we might want to check the wording of that na priority, but also based on where the demands are. Yun
I
lang
agree
naman,
with you, Your Honor. In fact, at some point, that provision will become obsolete or
Yes.
outdated because every
Yes.
province will have one, and then you'll need
Yes.
you'll need a provision to govern the future provision of SSF. So we'll try to see how we can reword that, Your Honor, so that the applicability of the SSF is provided for, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Sponsor.
Thank you. Thank you. It would be an honor. Thank you for your co-authorship. It would be an honor for the chair of the Futures Thinking Committee and the very hardworking vice chair of the Finance Committee on Health, Education, and other very important human development initiatives and budgets, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. President, there being no member who wishes to interpolate, I move that we close the period of interpellation. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, motion is approved.